It is Tuesday afternoon.
On a Tuesday.
And we do this. We weren't here last week because it was Holy Week and we were just busy being holy. And it's. But we're back and we're just talking about different things that are going on around the world. We do this every single week. And sometimes we know what we're talking about. Sometimes we don't. Usually it's in the middle somewhere. We're just three guys talking. Nobody here is a journalist. No. Nobody here is any kind of social expert. We're just us.
You know, I was thinking, because it was like, sometimes, man, you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you feel like Bucky.
Yeah.
Very true.
It looks like Bucky's food right there.
So,
isn't this a real vehicle?
I think so. So there's a story behind that. Have you been to that Five Below store?
Yeah.
Love that.
I thought I was gonna go in there and spend $5.
Oh yeah,
those things add up really fast.
Good luck with that, bro.
Yeah.
But I saw that on the way out, and I was like, man, I should get it. And I'm like, man, I already have a bunch of stuff, in the basket. I'm like, this is gonna not be good, right? So then we went through the line and everything, and on the way out, I looked at it and it was $350 on clearance, and I'm like, man. And Sharon goes, "What, do you want me to get it?" I'm not gonna get in line. Like, nah, forget. She goes, "No, you look like you really want that for the podcast." And I was like, man, that's cool, little peanut vehicle.
You said, "Oh man,
yeah." I didn't add it. So, anyways, she
you all shiny, man.
She went back in line and got it. I forgot to add it. Adam gave me the
I know he did
the audios. But anyways, it's remote control.
Yeah, that's what that was when I came in.
This little thing right here. So
that's funny.
Anyways, we got some subjects we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, I don't know, they have them here, Dollar General. Yeah. First time I ever seen a Dollar General before it was in California was Arizona, and that was like 17, 18 years ago.
They got them on Mars now.
What?
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
They made a joke because they pop up everywhere. You'll be in the middle of the desert, and you'll see a Dollar General, and they're like, "Oh, the first sighting of life in Mars," and it was a Dollar General.
So I went, and it was in southern Arizona.
Yeah.
And I was getting stuff, and I'm like, dude, this stuff is dirt cheap. Like U of A stuff. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's all $1.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, sweatshirts, dude, hats.
Oh, you thought everything was...
I thought everything was...
Like the 99 cent store?
Yeah. Because I was used to just the 99 cent store. And I was like, dude, this is going to be super cheap. Walked up, and it was like 100. I was like, what? They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, isn't this $1? They're like, no. It's just the store's called Dollar General.
Well, Dollar Tree is $1.25 now.
Now. For the longest time, everything was $1 plus tax.
Yeah. Now it's $1.25, and that's too rich for me now.
Yeah.
That's a bougie store.
Yeah.
That's a bougie store.
But
Five Below, man, I go there for candy.
That's a cool store.
That
store Sharon has gone in there, and I always find a reason not to for what I don't know. I stay in the car or whatever, and I went in there and I'm like, oh snap, this is a cool. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. If you guys, there's a store called Dyso, Daiso.
Dyso.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
And so they have one in Stockton, and then they just opened up one here in Modesto. That one is like it's like a Japanese store. They have some really cool things in there. Really cool for really good prices.
Like what is it?
Like everything you need.
Like food?
No. Well, they do have some food in there. Excuse me. They do have some food in there, but they have like just like laundry baskets and they have a bunch of you have to go check it out.
Okay.
It's a really, really cool store. You can definitely take all ages of your children, and everybody would like something out of that, I guarantee.
Really?
Yeah. Really cool store.
Where's it at?
Right here in Modesto. It's over there off of. You guys know where the Winco is?
Yeah.
Over there off of Sisk. It's right. Well, it's on the side of the Walmart. I'm sorry.
Oh, by Pollo Loco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're looking at
side.
Pollo Loco, no. If you're looking at Pollo Loco, it's right behind it. It's all against the wall right there. So it's cold.
There's that wedding dress place.
Oh,
too.
right there next to it.
Wow. Okay. Actually, Empty Tomb deserves
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the evangelist cat.
Oh, see, look at I love Dyso.
The
look,
evangelist cat.
he's the preaching cat.
Oh.
So anybody that gives a super chat, which is a super cat, you get a super cat.
Yeah.
That's just our way of saying
I like
thank
that.
you.
Look, he's just holding the Bible and just says,
That cat is holy, man.
yeah.
I like as much as it just looks like a wolf in sheep clothing, in my opinion, bro. It's just a demon
Is it
preaching
because
the
you
word.
hate cats?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, bro. Look at like that is the prime example of a demon.
Oh, Carl's here.
A demon who knows the word better than you.
Hey, look, he even put it on there.
All right. Sunset Free gets the
Yeah.
cowboy cat.
Yeehaw.
All right.
Says,
Thank you for the super chats. They turn into super cats. So, but yeah, man, that's a cool store. I want to give
Yes.
some shout outs real quick before we start here. We have Empty Tomb obviously on here. He had to take his daughter to the ER today, so he's exhausted.
Who did?
Adam.
Oh, what,
took
is she
Madison.
okay?
Oh my God.
I don't know. He says right here, hey, bros, I've been up all night at the ER with Madison, heading home now to try to get some sleep. I'll try tapping in before I crash, just dropping some Wi-Fi bread and sending love.
Oh, good luck.
So prayers for her.
Yes.
And what else we got? Bread of Life is on here. Can we get the J-Cat? Man, I didn't put it in. I made a J-Cat. And we got Derek Mallory from Minneapolis, Lisa, and Jose Chicano's on here, and Robert 661. And amen. So, yeah, we're here.
You know, I wish we had any. It was a slow week. I wish we had something to talk about this week.
So what are we talking about, Angel?
I don't know.
Got another one.
I was oh,
I don't have the J-Cat logged on here. But I'll give you this one, man. The Cholo Cat. He's from East Los. Look at him.
The 6'4".
He's about to cruise Whittier Boulevard right now.
Yeah.
Let's spread the word. All right. Angel, what do we got?
Yeah. I know we had some slow news this week. We had 2 jaywalkers in the city of Modesto that we wanted to talk about.
What?
There was nothing else going on in the news this week, right? Well, no, man. We wanted to talk about Iran. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's probably a lot going on right now at this
yeah.
minute.
Obviously, Trump's tweet, several of them
Yeah.
that caught a little bit of news, a little bit.
All of a sudden. That's 2016 Trump.
And then also we were going to talk about Gavin Newsom. You know, he's doing an incredible job as a governor.
Yeah.
And just wanted to give a shout out because he's how he gets he's learning how to mask the situation in California.
They should make a national hair gel day for Gavin.
for Gavin Newsom.
Has anybody AI'd him bald?
I don't know. No, I haven't. Not that I've seen.
Yeah.
Somebody out there. AI Gavin Newsom bald and his legs behind his head.
Sister
Same time.
Sister Lisa, hold on. I got to give her the cat meowments. Thank you for that super chat. It's a super cat. 10 meowments. Co-meowments.
Meow meow.
Okay.
But why don't we start off with good old Gavin?
Oh gosh. Okay.
So this is what I heard, and that he hired a New York PR firm that's got an office in Los Angeles, San Francisco.
Yeah. I heard about that.
$19 million PR firm to help clean up the image of California, but not California itself.
Why not spend $19 million to help California?
And that's the funny thing. It's all taxpayer funded. $19 million taxpayer funded PR firm that's going until the end of his, from my understanding, 2027,
Yeah.
which is the end of his term to go possibly for a presidential run.
Oh, is this because of Nick Shirley?
I don't know.
Well, I think it goes deeper than that. This guy is using taxpayer money to help his image to become the next president.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
No. I understand that.
But
Did he pick up this firm because of
probably
what?
the Nick Shirley. Yeah.
Because of Nick Shirley.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's for my. I don't know the timing because I know that there was people started doing some research, and it does go back a few months where they were in talks. So I don't know at what point in time that might have been the kicker that caused them to push the button. But from my understanding, they were already in conversations towards it for a little bit of time.
That's wild.
But why don't you know what do you have on Nick Shirley?
Nothing.
For anyone that doesn't know.
No. I don't. That came to my brain.
Yeah.
The first thing that came up, what I found here, was exactly what you said. Major global PR firm Edelman wins $19 million state contract to promote California in a better light. It talks about Edelman is considered the world's largest communication firm.
Yep.
The firm has had a long list of clients in various sectors. When you were explaining what it was, the first thing that came to my mind was everything that's going on with Nick Shirley and California and Gavin. And Gavin is
his reports on voting and the paying out
and all your money that you got found in. Like he said, I saw something that said that Nick Shirley found it was easier. It took not even a quarter of the time to find some of the things that he found that it took over in Minnesota, over here. The contract is expected to run from April 6th to December 31st of this year. Spokesman included several small businesses and proposals. It's called the spokesman for GoBiz. Pushback on those on some type of criticism. A spokesman for GoBiz. So I don't know what that is. Do you know what
That's
GoBiz?
the company that he hired, right?
Yeah, that's the company. Yeah.
Okay.
To make California look good.
Yeah.
All right. Included several small businesses in their proposal. Has requested Democratic lawmakers who oversee California state spending would not say if the campaign is a good use of taxpayer money, as the state grapples with major money problems projected this year and in years to come. Republicans have criticized the move, saying it's meant to promote Gavin Newsom ahead of a likely president run. I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't. Like, I know this has nothing to do with it, but I mean, I think of dudes like, who is this? Derek Mallory? Is that his name? I'm so sorry, brother. Please forgive me. Yeah, Derek Mallory, who's out there in Minneapolis. You have Empty Tomb, who's out there in Boston. Obviously, they got nothing to do with anything that's happening here with Gavin.
Yeah.
But you know of Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
So why would anybody outside of this state ever vote for Gavin Newsom for president of the United States?
You know what's weird is that he ruined Frisco. He ruined the city, and then he ruined the state.
Yeah.
Very strange.
He ruined the city first as the mayor. Then when he became governor, he decided to ruin L.A. because he had L.A. touch now. And then it just took over. And then he took over the farmers. And, oh, man, the farmers, bro, they'd string him up if they could.
But he helped the fishes.
Yeah.
Smelt?
Yes, he did.
He helped the smelt. Now, he didn't help the California residents whose houses was burning because of the smelt, but that's a different conversation.
Remember when he danced because at the thought of that property? Remember that?
Yeah.
So I went to the city yesterday because I had to drop somebody off at SFO. And, you know, pre-COVID, I used to go to the city a lot. Me and Sharon would go a lot. We would take, the kids were little, so we would go to the aquarium. We'd go to Golden Gate Park. We'd go to Pier 39 because the kids loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was fun. And Sharon was new to Northern California, and it was a beautiful city. You know, and we would just do different things, go across Sausalito or Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, the kids always liked it when they were small. And ever since COVID, hardly go there unless it's a doctor appointment or just something out of the blue. Yesterday, went to SFO, dropped somebody off, and it was dinner time. Why drive back through that traffic? Might as well eat.
Yeah,
you know. And we went to Fisherman's Wharf. Everything was closed by 9.
Really?
I mean, closed. Everything was closed. Went to Pier 39. I was like, well, man, I'm gonna get something to eat because I like to get from those vendors.
Vendors.
Yeah, the calamari and stuff. Shut down.
Yeah.
Not shut down, but closed. And then went to Pier 39. Everything was closed except Bubba Gumps. And they were closing in like 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You know, they let us in, thank God, you know, because we're starving, man. But anyways, just driving through the city did not feel the way it used to at all. It was just run down, empty, lonely, desolate. It's weird because it's such a huge city.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was no one out there. That is not the San Francisco I remember before COVID.
I've driven through. I haven't driven through that area. I've driven
The
through
touristy area?
Yeah, I haven't driven through the touristy areas. I've driven through like downtown multiple
we had
times.
to get to the bridge.
Yeah.
We went through the whole financial
Yeah,
district.
but like through there, I haven't even gone by
Yeah.
there. It has been years.
Yeah.
Years. But just seeing the city as the city, it isn't the same.
All those restaurants, the ones behind vendors, Alioto's, which was there for who knows, 100 years or something, was shut down. I mean,
Wow.
shut down, closed up. It was sad. There's a Ferris wheel. Remember where the guys
Yeah.
would always paint, like with breakdance music, and then like right there's a huge Ferris wheel now. That was weird. That was different.
Okay.
Whatever. I mean, it was shut down. It was closed. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's all him. One of the main things I remember when all that started happening, when they started shutting down businesses right there, that was right after he passed that law that anything 950 or 980 and lower is only considered a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
So then these people would just walk in and they started stealing all kinds of stuff, and then the food people, all the restaurants right there, they started shutting down because of all the homeless people. They started just camping up right there around. So then nobody wants
to eat.
no.
well, all Walgreens left.
Yeah.
Walgreens shut down across the whole city because of the
robbery.
shoplifting. Yeah, nobody was
I
doing
think
that. The cops
Oakland. I
weren't
think
doing
Oakland
nothing.
too.
Well, then he made it illegal that if you do stand in the way of them and you hurt one of them, that you get in trouble.
Yeah, and then Oakland was the first ever In and Out in America to shut down.
Yeah, that's what made her leave, pick up her her home base,
Yeah.
and she said, "That's it." In all the years that my family has owned this business, that it was it, man. I was done,
Yeah.
and so
Like, I don't go to Oakland. I do not go to
Nah,
Oakland.
I got no business out
It's
there.
to the point where if we're in San Francisco and we're driving across a bridge and somebody in the car has to pee, we're not going anywhere in Oakland. We're going to pass Oakland up. Now, think about that. That's my mentality. And I'm a con. I'm not some square. You know what I mean? I'm not going to Oakland. How many millions of more people pass it to get to Hayward or Castro Valley before they go to a drive-through, go to AMPM, or put gas? That is millions of dollars ignoring Oakland,
Yeah. The last In and Out.
right? You're not going to go to
They're done.
Oakland. You're not.
In and Out moved, dude. They're not in Oakland.
no, they shut
Yeah.
that one down.
Yeah.
First one ever.
Yeah. Exactly.
First one ever. Every other one that has ever been open anywhere else is still standing, except the one in Oakland. Leave it to Oakland.
Yep.
I'm just saying, bro. Hey, man, I used to be in Oakland quite a bit during the Raider times. I've spent my time and did my dumbness in Oakland. A lot of love for Oakland, but I have no business of being there today.
No.
I have no reason. If I ever take the BART and I got to go through Oakland, I don't even look at Oakland. I just close my eyes while I'm there.
and you're the one driving. Last time I went to Oakland really was when my son got his car stolen and the little iPod thing or whatever.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
followed it there. We went to go steal it back, but we couldn't find it. Santos Ortiz. Hey, brother Dave, when you come into Hanford, I don't know, man, but when I do go, I'm gonna go to Tai Tai. That is a bomb restaurant over there. But anyways, thank you for the super chat. Bam! You get the spread cat.
Oh.
Woo-wee.
Man, now I'm hungry.
Show.
Now I'm hungry. Look at Sunsets Free. He says that because of work, he starts it off with, unfortunately, he's there 2-3 times a week. I mean, I'd be there too if I had to be there for work. You know, if I'm getting paid to be there, then I'll be there. But
Yeah.
Well, that's different. But now when you're with your family and you're leaving the city and usually it's nighttime, you're not gonna stop there, man. I'm just curious, you know. Again,
I don't even blame Gavin for Oakland.
Who do you blame? The mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the mayor?
What is his name?
Robert. It sounds racist because it's a black city. Just playing. Actually, there's a huge Chicano presence there.
Yep.
A lot of times people think of Oakland as
Barberly.
black, African American. Man, you go to international, there's straight barrios and hoods there. But yeah, man, I still ain't going.
Well, yeah, I worked in Oakland, my previous job, a lot.
Yeah.
I was there at least 2-3 times a week.
There's a lot of raza there, actually, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
California is a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is, bro. Like I want to say almost every single ethnicity in the world is in California.
Well, the mindset of like the 60s and the 70s, that San Jose was all Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland was all black.
Mm-hmm.
But that was
The city was all gay. Like
that was 50 years ago. That ain't now.
Nah,
And it hadn't been like that for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long
Yeah.
time.
As much as all the traveling I've done around this state, I've never seen it like that. Now, guaranteed, yes. You go to Oakland, you go to East Oakland, you're gonna see a bunch of black folks.
You go to East San Jose.
Yeah.
You're going to see a bunch of
Yeah.
Latinos.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, dude. So I mean, but yet you go over to Mission District in the city, and you're gonna see a bunch of just Chicanos out there.
Yeah,
But, you know what I
exactly.
mean?
But-
So it's just like
but you are going to find a lot of funny people in Castro.
You-
Okay.
Even in
You go
San
to
Jose-
you go to Walnut Creek, you're gonna find a lot of Asians.
Certain parts of
Yeah.
San Jose, though, especially North San Jose towards Sunnyvale, you can see a lot of people from India.
Yep.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot.
You go to Stockton, you're gonna see a bunch of Cambodians.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But no
It's-
matter what, there's going to be blacks and browns
Yeah.
and whites. And,
It's all of it.
It's just a lot more blended than what it was 50 years ago.
Yeah,
It's still
absolutely.
there, but it's just blended.
Yeah.
And that's always been, going back to just like Stockton, that's always been the hostility within Stockton. Because
Robert said Oakland is a Northern Cali Compton.
It is.
Yeah, for real.
Just
and
like Compton. DJ Quick.
because like in Stockton, it's always been a mesh of so many different cultures in a very small locked in community.
Yeah.
You talking
That's
about
the
the city?
hostility.
That's what made it so dangerous.
Yeah.
You talking about the city? Oh, Stockton.
Stockton.
Oh yeah.
That's why Stockton has always been
Volatile. Man.
Yep. Because of that.
Whatchamacallit, we were talking about Stockton and we were talking about food. And then my son, Gabriel, he was like, man, I'm never going to Stockton to go eat. I said, man, I'll take a ride out to Stockton. Stockton got some bomb food out
Yeah,
there,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The worse
Like,
the hood, the better the food is. That's
yeah,
what I've learned.
straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up, man. And I said, but this is what I learned of Stockton. Like, if it's nightfall, I ain't going to eat there. I got to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Just go during the day,
You know
dude.
what I mean? Like, I
And
ain't-
take someone with you.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
like, no, I'm just trying to eat, bro. Like,
I'm trying to eat.
yeah, heck yeah, bro. You come in thugging, bro. I might buy you a plate, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But-
Sit down.
There's a certain spot, and you know this family where I always go get Chinese food.
Uh-huh.
It's off of Charter Way.
Yeah.
I never
Oh.
go alone
Okay, yeah.
because I've got to open up my lid. I've got to put in, and I usually several trips, and it's like I always take one of my sons with me.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be lookout.
I just said yesterday, dude, I'd be over off of Charter Way. They got some bomb food. Wilson Way has some
Yep.
bomb food, man. Okieville, man, they got some bomb food over there. Oh, yeah, bro. I'm down with Stockton, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Because,
and-
dude, they'll jack you for that. Dude, come on, dude. You're carrying
Yeah.
full of chicken. You go
Stockton.
get shanked, dude.
Good old Stockton. I crack up whenever Empty Tomb, whenever he was like, man, we know of Stockton out here in Boston.
Yeah. So, guys, I lived in Stockton for the last 9 years and recently moved closer to Modesto the last 6 months. And, man, my gray hair stopped coming out. Eduardo, hey, how you doing, brother? East and South Stockton have the best food.
Yeah.
So there's a birria place in Stockton that I do not tell my kids where it's at because they're just like, man, this is good. Where's it at? And I said, I ain't telling you.
But we grew up where mom and dad would get tamales in Stockton,
Yeah.
East Stockton,
I used to do that
all the
too.
time.
Over off El Dorado.
Yep.
I used to get some out there.
Downtown.
I
Yeah.
would get off of work. I work graveyard out there in Stockton. So then we'd go over to the liquor store to go drink. And then I was like, hey, bro. And then we drive into Stockton over there off of El Dorado and I pick up some tamales.
You know, you know how you have these beautiful first memories of the first time you went to the movies, the first time, your first Christmas. I'm going to tell you my first experience of Stockton. My earliest memory of Stockton is going to Don Juan market right there on Mariposa,
Mhm.
where Kmart used to be.
Yep.
And dad was working. Mom went to get sweetbread, and we're in the car. And my mom didn't want to get out because there was a Mexican lady crying, and these three African American kids that had just taken her purse from her didn't even run off. They're going through her purse in front of her face as they're going through it, laughing at her. And my mom was like, she wasn't going to get out of the car. All she had was us kids. That's my memory of Stockton.
Yep.
My earliest memory. I don't even know if you were born yet. Maybe
Yeah.
not, or if you were, you're a baby. That's my first memory of Stockton is seeing somebody get their purse ransacked right in their face, man, and nobody could do nothing about it.
Yeah, 'cause all that's right. All that's hood.
Yeah.
All that right behind there.
Yeah.
All that's hood. The old part, not the new part, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
new development.
But that's my earliest memory, man. So, anyways,
Mine was Manny's.
man, that's a good memory.
Yeah, but I didn't
And-
realize how crazy it was around Manny's. Like Dad would take us all the time. When he would just take
That's a
trips-
breakfast spot, right?
It was a burger.
Yeah,
spot.
burger.
burger
They had an
joint, right?
amazing avocado burger.
Yeah, but they have breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe, dude. I was a kid.
Well,
I-
it's just a burger place.
But it's a local joint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I
like
know, man,
kind of like
bro.
Snow White or something.
Yeah. I know, man.
So my friend used to work there. He died, anyways, but
At work?
he got sick.
Oh.
Almost. He was a worker at Manny's, and he went out to throw the trash and got shot.
Oh man.
He had to he jumped into the dumpster, still got hit on his leg.
drive by or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
But that's Stockton. And
I
then
mean, there's just some places, man, where like Gavin is just
French fries.
Oh,
are
yeah,
bomb.
back to
yeah,
Gavin.
yeah. French fries. Go on.
Gavin doing his thing, man, and Gavin is just I just can't believe it, man. I just hope that other people are paying attention to what he's doing to California. That
Yeah.
if he makes it to the ballot, that they are not. I'm sorry to say this, man. I'm sorry, but I have to say it like this. That they're not stupid enough to even vote for him. Hopefully Kanye gets more votes than Gavin Newsom, bro.
Kanye.
You know what I mean? Because it's all in the pudding. We lived through this, but it's one thing for us to have to deal with this,
Yeah.
but imagine him running this country.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Would you rather have Kamala or Gavin?
Oh man.
See that right there? You don't even need to answer the question. That's my point.
That hurt my heart. Hurt me right in the meow meow.
You get a super cat?
Does anybody have any Tums?
No,
It just gave me heartburn, dude. Just thinking about it.
Look at it before we go on. Sunset Free says, I moved up to Sac when I was 18 from Tulare, and I was culture shocked. It was so diverse. Tulare County is like 60 to 70% Hispanic.
Yeah.
Man, I remember in the Darkroom Familia days, my records will go crazy in the Tulare area because they were straight Chicano, like choloed out.
It's a lot.
You know, and so I can imagine what he's saying because it probably was culture shock because you think Stockton's diverse. Sac was really diverse. Sac is its own thing. It ain't Bay.
No,
It ain't Valley. It's its own vibe.
it's Valley Bay Valley.
I don't know what it is.
And then
They got their own
It's
thing
a
going.
complete blend.
Well, it's right there. It's the capital.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of history. It has a lot of it. Oh man, yeah, that's a pop.
Yeah.
California, man, I'm telling you, bro, it's so beautiful, dude. It really, really is, bro. It's just it's just the left.
Well, because Newsom's doing this. Who was the dude that Trump just supported and tweeted about?
I don't
Oh
know.
man, I just saw
True
that
Social.
too.
I don't know.
I just saw that, man.
Let me see here. I had it.
Let me see. Who did Trump? What is it called?
He
Back.
endorsed Steve Hilton.
Was it? Yeah, I
I
think
have
so.
no idea.
Who did?
Yeah, Steve Hilton pulls far ahead past Chad Bianco.
Oh man! And I thought Trump was backing Bianco.
I never heard of Trump backing
Yeah, I
anybody.
had saw that.
Really?
Yeah. Salinas was big dark room. Oh yeah.
Jose Chicano says Chicano shouldn't be ashamed of Chicano culture. Back to the roots. You know, I have a question about that. I think we talked about it last time. Was the Chicano identity 20, 30 years ago, I feel is different from the Chicano culture today. I think
Yeah.
they would both define it as differently.
Would
Did we
you
talk about that
Yeah,
last time?
yeah.
Well, we talked about something, but that was because we were talking about
immigration.
Cesar Chavez.
Because
Yeah.
my generation of being proud to be Chicano wasn't Mexico,
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's
but it
not
also
Mexico.
wasn't white America. We
No.
had our own subculture, Chicanismo, which means that Mexico, you ain't Mexican enough to be Mexican, you ain't white enough to be white, you're Chicano.
And it's exhausting.
But I think that definition is different now with this generation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you guys, I don't know, I'm not saying everybody here is Chicano or not, but would you agree or disagree with that? I'm just curious because I'll tell you where I got that from when I get your answer because I have a book here I want to show you.
I haven't been around lately, so like the closest thing I see to Chicano culture is when I go to a lowrider show. And for me, that is Chicano culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Lolos and all that kind of stuff, that's what that is. I wouldn't even say I would say from what I see just before you could just go anywhere. But when I was a kid, bro, I was in Southern California, so it was everywhere. I was growing up down there, so it was everywhere.
Yeah.
What I see of life of Chicano culture today, I don't see it.
Yeah, so it's different.
I don't see it.
So this book called I Am Joaquin, Yo Soy Joaquin, was written by Corky Gonzalez. He was a spokesman for Raza, for Chicanos. And this book is a poem. It's almost like obviously didn't make it nearly as famous, but kind of like I Had a Dream, Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
This was a Chicano poem that nobody cared about because nobody could care less what our people said.
Yeah.
But in this amazing poem that this is no longer in print, and can you show it on that? Maybe you could reach that camera. Yeah, there it is.
Why are you blocking me, dude?
Yeah. So in this poem, I love it because he talks about the fight between us being indigenous and Spanish blood. Because so many people are quick to say, oh, I'm Aztec, I'm this, I'm that. But here's the thing. The original Aztec people, the original indigenous people had no facial hair. They were really short and dark. Most of you got beards, you're tall, you're light skinned. So you cannot argue the fact that you have Spanish blood in you. And this dude talks about that fight between, of having European blood and indigenous blood and that fight that makes us who we are. But it was cool because he embraced the culture of the indigenous people, but he embraced the warriors of the Spanians and this fight within us. And I think people have lost that. I thought it was a cool.
That's
thing.
the mestizo.
Yeah.
That's what it. But no, I but going back, I think that I think there is a generational gap. I think things have changed. I think because of border, we had talked about that. It's a different mindset. It's not just our kids growing up in American culture mixing with other American cultures that brings about this thought. That's not a local thought. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, and we could maybe spend a little more time on I know we have some other topics we wanted to hit, but I think this generation sees things so much through a very, very different lens.
Yeah.
One, we're talking about, as far as just raza, as far as the way that we view ourselves within this culture.
Yeah.
Number two, the way the church is viewed, I think it's very, very different now than it was 25 years ago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think the way Israel's viewed,
Yeah.
Very, very different in today's younger culture.
Yeah.
Very, very different than it was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can go down the list. There has been an absolute cultural shift.
Yeah.
And so it's not surprising, but yet it does surprise me in so many of these different conversations because it is so different.
Yeah.
And to just hit it without engaging it is almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You have to engage it to begin to understand it because I don't think that way. It's so foreign to me, but to them, it's their world. And that's that, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing as a Christian, as a believer, as a minister of the gospel, that I'm really having to dig in deep into that because it's just so foreign to me. It's a very, very different way of thinking for me of what I'm seeing from the younger generation. And I have to engage it. I can't ignore it.
This Robert 661 says it's a generational thing. The babies of the early 2000s grew up to act black, and that's how it all changed. And I saw somebody today saying kind of the same thing, and I think that's where a lot of it went. You know what I mean? It was just like, I see that in the kids of life.
I think it's
today,
deeper than that, though.
you know, and it's just like that. I don't know if they, I don't know. I know my dad wasn't all about the Chicano, so where did I pay attention to it at? For me, I would always say that it would be the streets. For me, it was the veteranos that I was around and stuff like that.
Our dad either.
No,
You
'cause
know,
he's from
so
Arizona. But
and it was just like, so where did I catch it at as I was growing up? I was in the streets.
I got
That's
it from
how
my
I-
brothers.
That's how I caught
Yeah.
it. Well,
For-
you guys were in the streets then.
yeah.
Your older brother.
Well, our older brother. Yeah,
the older brother.
I
Were they
got
in the
it.
streets
Yeah,
like that
Lowrider
too.
magazine, Cuval magazine,
See what
all
I'm
that
saying?
stuff was
So all of
influenced.
that
Boulevard
was-
Nights when that came out.
Yeah, all of that. See, the streets. That's what.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it and grew up with it. And
Yeah.
so, especially being in Southern California at those times in the '80s and the '90s and all that stuff, it was heavy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, the streets is what taught me that. I know I didn't get that from my dad or my mom.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad, if anything, if I were to get anything from them, I would have got the Zoot Suiter kind of like style because my dad liked that style because he was right after that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
I think the meshing of black,
but
and
that's Chicano as well.
I think black and Chicano, because their cultures, they intermingled because blacks were wearing zoot suits too.
Mhm.
You know, look at Malcolm X.
Mhm.
He was in Detroit wearing zoot suits, going to clubs and this and that. So you know, Chicanos were doing it too. Lowriders. I remember.
There's always been a blend.
I remember in the '90s, you see Snoop and them had lowriders, but that's taken from Chicano culture. The way they were dressed,
Yeah.
because a lot of the black gangbangers weren't dressed like that in the '70s.
No.
They dressed like cholos in the '80s, but it was Chicanos that were dressing like that from the '50s. So there's been it, and then here's another thing: Chicanos is we loved black music.
Yeah.
We were listening to Motown,
Soul,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So there's been a huge mesh within those two cultures, I think, especially in LA, which LA is the mecca for the lowrider, for the Chicano culture, all that. Being from up north, I wouldn't admit that back then, but it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it came from East LA, it came from LA, and then it
Royal
came
Heights.
to San Jose. Because San Jose was kind of our lowrider mecca growing up,
Yep.
but it came from LA. You know what I mean? That's just the honest truth.
Yeah, because it would be San Jose or Stockton.
I think San Jose more.
No, but like for me
Yeah.
growing up, like what I would always hear
Yeah.
is like if you're gonna go cruise East San Jose,
Oh yeah.
but locally here, it was now when I was a teenager, or you know, it was Modesto, you know, 9th and
Yeah.
J Street,
Oh yeah.
you know, going up to McHenry. But younger than that, I remember going with Brown Persuasion. We would go to with Ruben, and he'd go to his car club meetings, and we'd go to Oak Park, and we'd be out there, and you see all the lowriders, and then they'd go cruising. But it wasn't a violent scene.
Yeah.
It was just laid back. There was a couple. It was
But
just,
the line wasn't blended as much back then. Like,
No.
yeah, we would listen to oldies, and all that, but at the same time, we would have our own style of talk. We would have
Yeah.
our own slang. And it's just completely. Look at Cholo Trucker says it all goes back to parenting. I never allowed my sons to sag their pants or talk or act a certain way.
yeah. But I also remember when we'd go riding, Zapp and Roger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gap Band,
Yeah.
right?
I still say Stevie B shouldn't be played in the 6'4" Impala though, man. I'm just saying, for all my Lolo riders out there, if you know, man, those cars deserve that year of music.
You are not a lowrider if you don't got Zapp and Roger up in there.
And I agree with you, bro. But do not be playing Stevie B or Lisa or any of that in a low rider.
Jose Chicano says I'm a
Just
preppy
saying.
Chicano.
That's funny.
Yeah, man, I see it too
I like
often.
Stevie B, though.
I like freestyle. Don't get me wrong. I like it, just not when I'm driving a Lolo.
That's
man.
funny because I wouldn't even think of playing it. But
see it
I
too
like
often
Stevie B
today.
though.
Yeah, we show up over at the graffiti. right here that they have it right here in Modesto. We show up at graffiti, man, and all these Lolo coming in looking beautiful, bro, bumping Stevie B. I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? You need some you need some American gangster music. You know what I mean? Like
Our poetics is every church should engage it, or we're gonna miss out on all these young men trying to come in the church.
Yeah.
I think he said that a while back, so I'm not sure exactly to what.
I think what I was saying
pertaining about
engaging.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
that I think, because I think it's needful. But it does force me. You know, it does force me, because you know what, David? It's not just outside.
Yeah.
It's within our own family. And so these conversations that we're having is within family members and culture, because it's generational.
Yeah.
And it's a culture, it's a thought process. And some of it honestly just kind of makes me just sit back and just kind of go, okay, hold on, let me think through this a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Now,
And-
another thing too is, jokingly, people have said, "Oh man, why are you wearing boots? You ain't white." I'm like, who do you think the first cowboys were? So I always go back to that. And I had a black dude one time tell me, "Man, I really like boots, man, but man, you know, I'm black." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Look at history. Don't you realize that a huge percentage of the cowboys in the West Coast were black because remember, they were freed from slavery.
Yeah.
You think they're going to stay in Georgia or all that? They were coming west to start a new life. So they took on the dress. So there was a lot of Mexicans and a lot of blacks that were cowboys back then. Anyways,
Yeah.
we haven't even,
Back to Newsom.
back to Newsom.
I ain't got nothing against Stevie B. I'm just saying it doesn't belong in a lowrider. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Spring Love, come back to me.
Yeah, come back to me. You want me to dance right now? I'll dance.
Because what do you have against Stevie B? Stevie B's a bomb.
Stevie B was tight, man. Even with his Easy-E Jerry curl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
I think the reason that we have 20-year-olds now is because Stevie B.
I agree with you. I wanted to touch real quick on Jose Chicano's comment. It says,
right.
wait a minute. Where was it? Parents these days do not discipline, and honestly, we see more Chicano households broken up without fathers in the homes. I just had this conversation with a brother who is doing a lot of different things in his community and doing a lot of different stuff. And that's exactly what the whole topic was. And I don't know where God's leading me in this, but this is like the 6th time I've had this conversation this year. But that is the biggest thing that's going on, is the 3 of us in here, we grew up with dads, and look at how we screwed up. Maybe not Angel. I mean, you screwed up, don't get me wrong. Maybe just not street-wise.
Not long enough. Yeah.
Not street-wise. I didn't go to prison. He went to prison. We all had dads, and we all got our butts whooped. That's the one thing we all did. Imagine if we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at what we did, and that's because we had our dad to whoop us in our home. And a lot of these kids in today's life, bro, don't. And this is the worst fatherless generation since I've been alive.
Yeah.
And it's just getting worse. And we can see it in protesting. We can see it in the streets. We can see it in the disrespect of whenever these kids are bumping into old ladies, you know what I mean? And telling them to shut the F up and doing the things that they do. And it's just like, I want to say something, but then I'm looking like, bro, you got like 6 dudes with you. All of you are stupid. And 9 out of 10, all 6 of you are packing. So if I say something for this one woman, I'm dying. And that's just reality. I'm not going out like no punk. There's a difference of being crazy and a difference of being stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I get it.
It's very, very unfortunate of what's going on in today's life. And so, like, I think all that stuff comes out. Like, that's not culture, bro. That's just punkism. That's not, it's like you said, man, you've never been socked in the mouth for talking too much and you can see it on you. Or
Well, some people say like you've never been told, "Hey, I'm going to tell dad," and it shows. You know, like it just shows, man. And unfortunately, there's something Sharon calls guilt parenting. Is because dad isn't there, you guilt parent them. So now anything they say and do, oh, my poor mijo, my poor mija. Because God forbid a teacher says something against your kid, and instead of you disciplining your kid because they were acting up in class, you go against the teacher. So they are taught no respect, and here's where that leads to. You might have won that argument with that teacher, but it's going to lead eventually where they don't listen to the law either, and they don't listen or respect judges, and and you end up in prison, man. You know, and that's the sad thing is that you think you're fighting for your kid, but you're teaching them something really wrong.
Mm-hmm. I was just having this conversation. What's really sad is I've been able to sit back, and it's my generation who are the parents, and then you look at the kids of the next generation. I now guaranteed. I'm not saying it's every single person. I'm just saying we're the parents today, so we are the ones to be looking at.
Yeah.
This generation here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we are the generation that are teaching. We did too good of a job. This is how I look at it. We did too good of a job of giving our children what we never got. You know how every parent wants to give what we did too good of a job. So when your child gets in a fight, you want to go beat up the dad now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, what are you doing? Where my dad was like, well, you better handle that. You know, and it was just like, if I got my butt kicked, I got my butt kicked. And that's just what it was. Okay, what did you learn? Now let's go home so I can slap you around for getting your butt kicked. You know what I mean? And that's just what it was. And in today, was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know, but I know it's not what's going on in today's life. My mom always says, no matter what Tino did, I never had anybody ever come to me and say about how disrespectful he was in my home.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously they taught me something. Like at least whenever I go into your parents' home, obviously the same parent, your parents' home, then something changes in us. In today's life, I hope my children are the same way. I haven't heard anything, so praise God for that. You know what I mean?
I think there was, in my lifetime, there was 2 teachers that I was very disrespectful with.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 teachers. One of them didn't know that I understood Spanish.
Oh, I remember that story.
And that's why I was disrespectful, because the way she would talk about me, and I never told her that I knew.
Yeah.
Oh, she would talk to you.
She would talk about me to the other teachers
in
Spanish, not knowing that I knew.
Dirty.
And so that to me was like, well, then why am I going to respect you?
Yeah.
You know. And so that was one. The other one, I was just an idiot, and that was just me being a punk. That was just 1000% me being a punk. You know, nothing more than that.
Yeah.
But I remember all of my teachers that I would get in trouble. All of my teachers, I would get referrals, whatever, and they would sit with me alone, and they would always tell me, Angel, why do you act like that when everyone? Because on a personal level, you're never disrespectful to me. You're always, and I remember that, but I remember that because I was always scared. I knew that there was a limit. I could be an idiot or I could be dead when I got home, right? And I knew that there was a limit, to my madness, because ultimately I knew Dad was there. And it was crazy. It was funny because on Sunday, right, we're there and Angel comes up and he's standing there and he goes, man, Dad, look at my beautiful family. Like, this is beautiful. I mean, we were missing one. Stacy, and little Andy.
She was in Mexico, right?
Yeah. But other than that, everybody was there. And that's the first time in a while.
Well, since the wedding, though.
Yeah. But I'll say being at Mom and Dad's house.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time in a long time.
Years.
That we've all been there. And Angel was like, man, Dad, look at my beautiful family, right? And he's 24. Or he's going to be. Is he 24? I don't know if you're 24. Somewhere you're around there.
Once they hit 20, I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know their ages at all.
But it was just it. You're 20 something, Mill. But it just hit me because they're starting to get into that age now.
Yeah.
Where now that's changing. And then I find out from Diana's dad, because he called when we were driving back, and he goes, yeah, Angel calls me every morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he talks to me in Spanish. How does he talk to you in Spanish? He goes, I don't know. And then I went, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I know he's doing
nice.
But it's just, and so it makes a difference, man. I don't care I don't care how many mistakes we have made here at this table as fathers or not.
Yeah.
You could still see the residual effect of a father in their life.
Eventually, they'll understand that it's all due in love.
Yeah.
It'll all be due.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Eventually, they will. I know it. Yeah. Then maybe I'm alive, maybe I'm not.
I have another super chat I haven't showed to you guys this episode. You guys see it last week or the week is the praying super chat. So have I showed this praying? No, I showed the evangelist, huh?
Yeah.
So the next super chat that comes in, I'm going to show you the praying super cat.
Who's going to be the special one?
Anyways, Iran.
Yeah.
So
something happened in Iran recently?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the rescue. I thought that was amazing. Yeah. So 2 of our fighter jets were shot down last week. And
For several days, they were down.
yeah, one of them got rescued right away, I believe, pretty much right away. The second one, they couldn't find him, and he had one of those beacons, and so they were getting his thing, and so he got shot down on Friday, and all he said, his first message was, "God is good,"
Every day.
letting him know that he was alive because he got shot down. They were like, "What happened to this guy?" They could not find him. Apparently, he had the beacon on. He went. All these Iranian soldiers, it got to the point where civilians were looking for him.
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
And he found a cave and hid in a cave, man. And American soldiers went in a helicopter into Iran and pulled this guy out of the cave and brought him home.
That's what's up.
And what was crazy is the fact that it was crazy because obviously we know Good Friday,
Yeah.
Jesus died, was put in a cave, and he came out alive on Sunday. And this guy
On the
was
third
downed
day.
on Friday, hid in a cave on Saturday, and was brought out of the cave on Sunday. And he was brought home, you know what I mean? And praise God, that he's home safe, man, And but this thing with Iran is getting crazy.
Well, on just real quick to touch on the story you just said, maybe I don't know if you guys know.
She's getting it. Bam.
Oh.
Thank you, Sister Lisa.
No,
The anointing.
come out,
cat.
come out of them.
Thank you.
Witchcraft.
That's how it sounds. But I don't know if you guys could tell me if you've heard this story or not. That the same time that they were rescuing him,
Yeah.
that they were bombing
Yeah.
at at another location
Well, they
simultaneously.
gave misinformation of where this guy was hiding. They wanted to see. So they gave false information of where this pilot was hiding. And when they saw a convoy heading that way, they bombed them because they know their intentions.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That's what you're talking about, right?
I don't know. I didn't quite.
Yeah, so when they
understand the
went to
details.
rescue him, they wanted to see what convoy was heading to go kill him where they thought he was at, and boom, they bombed the whole convoy. That's crazy. Sunset Free. No, I know you've seen it before, but I'm saying this week. Nobody had gotten that one this week.
Do we need to pray for somebody? Meow.
Jake, hey, how you doing, brother? Pastor Dave, love you, man. Give me a shout out. Shout out to Jake. All right. So, but yeah, man, Iran. So apparently, Trump on,
What?
I'm
Let's just bring out those tweets.
I can't read them.
No. I know.
Yeah.
The first tweet where he just starts cussing. He's cussing on this tweet.
I want to know your guys' honest opinion, not this, oh, I'm with Trump, whatever he does, like honest opinion on what you guys' thoughts are on that.
On his praise be to Allah.
Yeah. And dropping F-bombs. I mean, I get it to a certain point. He's not a pastor. He's not this,
Yeah.
he's not that. I don't blindly follow the guy. You know what I mean? But he's a, yeah. Was that presidential? Is it not? I guess. Because I'm not going to approach that like as if he was a pastor. I'm going to approach it as a president. Is that presidential to do that on Easter Sunday? What do you guys think?
You want to go?
No, you go ahead.
I'm just curious.
I didn't. Here's my thing. For me, I expect Trump to be Trump.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised of Trump being Trump.
Like a snake biting you and being surprised?
Yeah, I'm not shocked by
True.
that.
True.
It is Trumpish.
Yeah.
That's who he is. Do I like it? No, I didn't. Put it this way, I don't mind the sarcasm.
Yeah.
But I also understand. To me, when I read it, the first thing that popped in my mind was like, what happened to you today? Like, did someone upset you?
Who hurt you?
Yeah, who hurt you, dude?
You need a hug.
I don't know, and here's because I was thinking about it before we got here because I knew that subject was going to come up. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about.
Is it Luciano or Luciano? Shout out to him. He says his son freaked out when we gave him a shout out. Jake. Hello, Sister Sheila.
And When we were talking about Cesar Chavez and that whole ordeal, and we gave our opinion.
Yeah.
We don't know the facts.
Yeah.
But we gave our opinion.
Yeah.
And so, but sometimes when it comes to Trump, I could sit there and say, I don't know the facts.
Yeah.
And that's true. I don't. I don't know what's on the table, what set him off. And that's true. I don't. But can I say something to it? Yeah. I just didn't like it. Now, do I know the facts? No. Do I know what was on the table, what set him off? No, I don't. Am I blinded now all of a sudden I'm completely against Trump because my meow meow hurts? No.
No.
At the same time, was I a blind follower? No. And so just because I didn't like it, that doesn't mean that I'm pro-Iran
Yeah.
in their regime and what they're doing. What? Right? It's like, dude, that's dumb. And so to me, it's just kind of, I can say I don't like this and still go, okay, let's move forward. What are we doing here? What's the objective? But I will say in the overall, what Trump said in the original conversations about us going into Iran, I do have some questions because I'm like, I don't know if it's following what you said. I just have some questions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't, but it's, I text him, he didn't respond. So I don't know if he's going to answer my questions or not. But that don't mean as an American, I don't have questions. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I don't know if that's a position, but that's how I felt about it.
Hey, Chino Mac, I see you on Facebook. Shout out. You were saying?
I expect nothing less from him. Is it shocking? Nope. Like I said,
no, I wasn't shocked.
It's 2016 Trump, and I wasn't mad when Trump was doing all of his tweeting and all of his stuff he was doing then. You know what? He says, I don't cuss, so, I mean, take out the cuss words, but he says what I say. You know what, bro? Listening to Trump sometimes is like listening to somebody in my living room or somebody's living room. All of a sudden, dude, people become high and mighty because Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, said some cuss words or he said some off-the-wall things. Like some of the people you hang out with don't say some off-the-wall things. I say off-the-wall things, and you both know that.
You do?
And it's just like, I mean, exactly what you said. Do I like it? I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say it, but not me.
I mean, it's just like, open that thing up. Open the straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when he called them bastards, I mean, are you? You know what I mean? Are you? I mean, I don't know. I don't know your life. You know what I mean? Like, it's like calling somebody stupid. If you are in stupid actions and I call you stupid, then hey, man, don't be mad at me. You're the stupid one. You know what I mean? Like, I have proof. You know, and if you're a bastard, I mean, again, I'm not mad at that either. Yeah. But the thing about it is,
I don't know who your father is.
Yeah, dude, I don't know any of that information. Are you? I mean, we get to truth, and so. It's just what it is. Now, whether I like it or I don't, I get it, man. Maybe he shouldn't have said it like that. You know what I mean? But I never thought about it like, yeah, did he need a hug that day? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to you, bro? Like, who set you off? Was this really at Iran, or did somebody over here say something that really ticked you off? And then somebody asked you, you got people typing all your stuff around and you said what you said. And they posted it. I remember my son came right away. He's like, Dad, you see Trump's True Social? And I said, no. And then he showed me, and I was just like, bro, first thing, I was like, that's AI'd. Because he's been really good with his language.
He has been. He's been.
This year.
That's what threw me off a little bit.
This time around, I said, bro, that's hacked. That's hacked. He was like, no. And then he showed me another one. And then I was like, oh, okay, Trump's on one right now. But it is what it is.
Before you give your opinion, let me ask Tino something real quick.
You have the Super Cat, Jose
I know.
Chicano.
Okay. I got him.
Okay, real quick.
He's gonna get one right now.
You and I, we're in a competitive environment.
Okay.
Right. As far as work.
Okay.
And have you ever found yourself in a moment that you had to stir yourself up for anything? Like let's say maybe you've had a bad couple weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like the Michael Jordan thing. I'm gonna make up something.
Okay.
To set me off to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so
I know what you're talking about now.
So when I read that, that's kind of what went through my mind was like, was there something? Did he need a hug?
Yeah.
Or was it, I have no way out. No one is going, there's no win for me either way. So I'm going all in.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a possibility too that went through my mind. Whether I liked it or not, I understood the possibility of all these different scenarios. And if somebody's never been in that moment or that environment, because I have found myself where I have to stir myself up in my own self, that then they may take offense to it. I didn't like it. I will tell you the part that I disliked the Allah part more than the cussing part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That part to me was like,
Mm-hmm.
leave that out. Because listen, we have some allies there. Don't stir that. Why do that? That's not necessary. The other part, that's all Trump. That didn't shock me one bit.
Nah.
One bit. But
Your turn.
Well, for me, I think that we have to be careful because, for instance, I can't tell people to respect the house of God as a pastor.
Mhm.
And then because I'm having a rough day or angry at something, that I disrespect the house of God.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the office of president is beyond whoever's president at that time and moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't expect people to respect. The only thing is that for me, okay, you know what brought fear in the Godfather movie? Is that Marlon Brando never raised his voice because he knew he was boss. And to make him act outside of that was a crack in showing fear or showing whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that a president that holds his posture is more scarier than one that gets overtaken by emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Hold that in. Be a man. As frustrated as you are, Trump is going to be Trump, yes, to a certain degree. But I think that I respect that office of who sits there. And I think there's a way to be presidential. I think there's a way to convey fear. And to me, that showed emotion, and that's not him. So, and then you do it on a worldwide holiday that represents when Christ resurrected. So I didn't like it. Does that mean all of a sudden I'm against? No, I'm not saying that either. I agree with you on that. I think that wasn't one of his greatest moments.
No.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thought.
No.
Supposedly they were supposed to open the strait today and a few hours ago, or else he was going to bomb every bridge and this and that. And I'm just like, that's a hard position to put yourself in because I haven't looked at the news because we've been on here. But if that stuff ain't bombed, they just called your bluff.
That's what somebody said right here. They called his bluff.
And you got to be.
Well, somebody
careful with
posted
that.
something earlier. If you scroll down,
That's what
somebody
I'm looking
posted something
for.
earlier
Something
about to check
40
on something.
minutes ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my thing.
I agree.
I respect the office, man.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is, here's what also came to my mind because I thought of that same thing too.
Mhm.
My kids are more afraid, not when I get loud, but when I get quiet.
Yes.
Because if I'm quiet, I'm processing and I'm done. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm done. I'm done dealing with you. I'm processing how I'm going to deal with you now. And that's
Like, I don't regret the things he's doing to get America where it should be. Okay. But I'm curious to see what a Republican president will look like to help America without an ego. Because let's be honest, there's an ego he's dealing with that's getting worse and worse. Let's be honest. I'm not saying I'm flipping, I'm changing this and that, but let's be honest. I'm just curious, what would a Mark Rubio look like?
Mm-hmm.
That's
thought
going
of
to
that.
make America greater without the ego, without the braggadocious, without that. What would that look like? I'm curious. It's an honest question.
And here's the other question that came to my mind too when that happened.
Wait
Was,
a minute.
Hold on.
The second one?
The not sure?
Yeah.
Uh,
That there's an extension.
Oh, not sure if it's on you guys' topic, but just seeing that there's an extended deal for a ceasefire regarding Iran. This was posted 40 minutes ago. Oh, so that's, I guess, there's an extension on it.
You know, but my question was this: either he lost his cool,
Yeah.
and again, this is just assumptions and me trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
As a dad, if I'm processing, I'm quiet, I'm mad.
Yeah.
But if I'm running at you, it's because there's no time for me to be processing and quiet. So then it also went in the back of my mind, going back to, I don't know what's on the table of why he reacted that way. To go, I've got, it's almost like I would always, when we were, youth pastoring, I would tell kids, I said, listen, first you have your teachers, then you have your mom, you have your dad. So you have the ministry. I said, and as far as you working with some of you kids, I might be that last one right before the edge. And if I got to throw the cone at you or I got to tackle you, I'm your last resort. and sometimes it can't be soft. And so that also went through my mind of the possibility too, because I don't know what's on the table of all that information.
Yeah. I think too that we don't talk about it here in the news is that Christianity is growing in the Iranian people. They're not all hardcore Muslims or extremists. I have yet to meet an Iranian person that is not super cool. So we got to understand, because a lot of America is trying to demonize Iranians.
Yeah,
We're talking about the government, dude.
Yeah, no.
We're talking about the government, not the people.
Because they're not even Middle Eastern, they're Persian.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not.
They're-
They're Persian. So, dude, they're super cool. The ones that I've met.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't get that twisted and mixed up. The Syrians, if you know Syrian people, they're from Iran.
The people and the
Persian
government are two completely different things.
Yes.
The flag, the Muslim nature, all of what it isn't Iranian. That's two completely different things. These Muslims came in and what are they called? The one that
The Ayatollah?
Yeah, the Ayatollah came in and they took over all of it and they basically punked them out of everything. They changed their flag. They did all what they did. The people,
47 years.
The people of Iran and the government are two completely different things. And if that's not what you know of it, then you don't know what you're talking about. That's the only reason he hasn't blown up the country.
Yeah.
It's the only reason, because he knows those people love America and there's no reason to kill these innocent people.
They just want freedom.
If the whole country was like their government, then I don't think he would think twice. I don't think any president, for that fact. I think Obama, as much as I didn't like that dude, I think even he would have blown them up already.
Did you see here in the freeway on 99 coming in?
Yeah.
Did you see the people on the freeway?
Mickey told me about something.
yeah, it was probably about 6 people.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she told me about some other. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, maybe there was more earlier, but when I was coming through, there was about six people on the freeway.
Yeah.
No more wars, right? And I'm sitting there, and the first thing that went through my mind was, where were the protesters when numbers of 30-something thousand were killed, and then they come out and say, we didn't kill 32,000, we killed 3,100.
Yeah.
Where were the protesters at? Where were you at when these people and the government acknowledged we murdered them?
Yeah.
But yet we don't want wars.
It's still blacked out. There is no internet there.
Exactly.
So we don't know what's going on.
No idea. None.
There's people with families there have no idea what's going on because they're completely blacked out of their internet. So does a nation black out internet because good things are happening? Why are Iranians unable to see the internet or post anything on their Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on anything? That nation is completely blacked out from internet. I don't think it's because great things are happening, though.
Yeah.
So these are questions that why are people not asking this, right?
Let me ask you this, maybe on the same subject, but what are your thoughts on how this has unfolded?
What do you mean by that?
Are we
Like
talking biblical?
No. I mean, just the way our government, our administration has handled from day one when we started 5 weeks ago or 5.5 weeks ago, in Iran till now. Even I know we could always just kind of fall back and go, well, but we don't know the information. Just from what we know, what's your thoughts?
For the past 20 presidents, maybe not that many.
No.
Maybe 10 presidents, maybe? How far was
Probably
Reagan
not.
back?
Probably not even that.
It was
far
before
back.
Reagan. It was since Carter, I think.
Yeah.
So
it
we'll
was
say
Carter.
from Reagan.
Carter, Reagan.
We'll say from Reagan all the way up until today, right?
Clinton,
Clinton.
Bushes, the two Bushes.
The two Bushes, Obama. Obama's taking a bunch
so
of
at least
that.
about 8.
Okay, so
7, 8.
those presidents right there, they've been talking about Iran. Oh, we should do this. Oh,
Since
we
the
should do
70s.
this. Oh, we should do
50
this.
years.
Oh, man, too bad. Would've, could've, should've. This one did something.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at you. You know what, bro? I mean, after a while and seeing some of the things that you see, even some of the things that we know ourselves, right? Because we obviously don't know what he knows. We don't get to hear all that private as much as the media thinks they're giving it to us all.
But I think the generational gap. I hear young people. I heard some of our kids talking on Easter Sunday, like, oh, Iran and Israel, this and that. I'm just like, dude, you guys weren't even born when we used to see Iran take hostages, American hostages. You know, and I'm just like, I didn't even want to get in that conversation because
Yeah,
I
I
just
agree.
wanted to enjoy. And I'm just like, let them talk their politics that they know nothing about because they weren't alive.
At least they're talking it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just letting them have their day. You know what I mean? They want to talk about that. But I'm just like, dude, this Iran thing is not a Trump thing.
No.
You know, my first thoughts of Iran as a child, my first memories are hostages. So it's like there's a generation gap that they're not understanding. And unfortunately, they're all feeding themselves the same thing on social media.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all this against Israel and this and that, whatever. And I'm just like, you weren't around.
But in some of this, I know a lot of the times, like we'll say this, you know, hey, we talk about things here because we want to keep it out of the pulpit. But more and more, David, some of this has to leave here.
Yeah.
Because it's in the fabric work of the ears of Christians of a younger generation. And so that doesn't mean it has to go all out. And that's where we have to be careful. But we also have to be aware of outside of these parameters in the church, there's young people coming in with the mindset that we have to have open dialogue. And we're not going to like what we hear.
Okay. I heard this conversation with our kids. I'm not going to say who, but they were talking about, I heard one of our kids say, well, you know, the Jews, they're not even full-blooded Jews. Actually, the Palestinians are more full-blooded to that area than the Jews, so therefore the Jews don't belong there, this and that, right? I was on my way to get some ribs as I heard that in my earshot, and I wanted to say this so bad.
You should have got a jawbone of a donkey.
I wanted to say this so bad. I wanted to say this so bad because they were talking very logical, right? Our younger generation kids, they're like, they want to talk.
I heard the
super
conversation.
intellectual,
I
logical.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But
David, they have these.
yeah, they
There
have tablets and phones. But here's my thing. I wanted to throw some logic in there. And I wanted to throw us, for instance, as Chicanos. Let's go back to that. For 500 years, Mexico was invaded by Spain. And we grew up with this thing called Aslan. We need to take Aslan back, right?
I remember
500 years that we have been separated from our roots. And in 500 years, imagine us going back to take Aslan back, and they do a 23andMe, and we have African blood and Spanish blood and Portuguese blood and all this blood, and them saying, you know what? You're not even completely indigenous because we've been taken out of our land for 500 years, okay? Almost 2,000 years ago, the original people from Israel were expelled out of there by Islam. And they ran to Poland, they ran to Europe, they ran to Russia, they ran to all these places. If the Mexican isn't pure in 500 years, what's the purity going to be of Jews that were finally called in 1949 to come back to the homeland?
It was about 1,500 years.
Dude, of course there's going to be different blood. So I'm not saying their argument is right, is wrong, but dude, you want to be rational? Then be rational. That's why the Palestinian is more pure, because they're the ones that kicked them out 2,000 years ago. So of course their blood is going to be more pure to the land compared to the Jew that was expelled from all over the place, and there was a huge exodus, and then they're brought back. So now I'm not at all in cahoots with Israel's current leadership. I'm not talking about their government. But they weren't talking about the government. They were talking about the people. They're saying, well, the Jewish people, they're more, that whole argument. I'm like, dude, are you serious? We don't have pure blood, and it's only been 500 years. How much more do you think after almost 2,000 years? I'm like, you want to bring logic? Bring logic. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather have ribs. And I just kept it moving,
I was just saying, the one thing that for me,
The table, man. I'm sorry.
the what?
Go ahead. I apologize.
The one thing for me that I will say that really does bother me, but I don't quite understand the context of, so I have to give that background. That Rubio said about this whole situation with Iran was the statement that he said, well, we knew Israel was going to do this, so we had to get involved. Yeah. I didn't like that statement.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you guys see that link I sent the other day when Rubio was standing in front of the Senate, and it was from 2015?
Yeah, prior to Trump coming in. Yeah.
And he was saying everything of what we're going through right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And he says, I want to be on record. I want to be on record. So that way they know that they chose wrong, and so on and so on and so on.
Real quick, Robert. I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to read his comment. He says, well, David, isn't it weird that the Jewish people are the only people in the Middle East that look full-blown Caucasian? The theory, though there are European imposters, makes sense. That does make sense, but not in what I just said. They were the only people that were kicked out. So, of course, they're not going to look Middle Eastern. If they were the only people that were kicked out, of course, the Arabs are going to look Arab because they were never kicked out. So it goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It leads back to why they look European, because they were exiled.
But yeah, because I've had that conversation with people.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
No.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
All I was going to say was the table, bro. I had told you about last year sometime I gave a message on my Sunday, and my message was on the table. And it's just like I'm listening to you talk about the children, and I think the table time is what's missing in our life, bro.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Our table time is missing, bro. Like, Jose Chicano was talking about the parents. It's like, okay, cool. You know what? If you're a dad and you sit down, but yet you guys are all on your phones, or you guys are reading a paper and no conversation is going on there, it's a waste of a table. And so whether or not you agree with my politics or you don't agree with my politics, I don't care. Let's converse. Let me hear what you got to say, bro. Because I want you involved. I want you to have knowledge. I want you to not be ignorant. I don't want you to go out there and be a part of the world, but I want you to understand that it's okay for you to think the way you think. And for you to be paying attention. Expand your mind. Pay attention to your country. This country, the one who you complain about, who pays you, roofs you, feeds you, and does all these things. Pay attention to it. Do you want to pay attention to the history of the last 250 years? No? Okay, that's fine. Let's pay attention to today. Let's have this conversation. Do you think love is love? You know what I'm saying? And if they answer you what you're really hoping, be okay with it.
Yeah, I think sometimes I usually get in the conversations, but on Resurrection, I just wanted the ribs.
No, I get it, bro.
I wanted the ribs.
Yeah, that's not the table, though. That wasn't the table.
I just
you know
wanted
what I mean?
ribs.
But
I wanted to see my granddaughters. I wanted to see Ezra.
That's food for thought, though, man. How many children are here at this church or at churches that don't have a father to sit around the table with? Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And exactly. And that's why I'm saying I think we need to look at how do we take some of these conversations and integrate it in what we're saying behind the pulpit, whether it's a Bible study, a sermon, whatever, because not all of it has to be just vomited out there and just, hey, let's talk politics today. No, but like when the conversation about, let's say, Israel and all that, and I've told him, I said, listen, I'm not arguing for the government of Israel today.
Me either.
I am not arguing for the Jewish people of today. I'm not saying they're bad people or anything. I said, my position is this. One simple thing. If you tell me that that's not their land, then God's a liar. I'm arguing from a biblical perspective that God said this is their land. And we could argue about should it be or shouldn't it be. God said it was because the Messiah would come through there. That's enough for me.
Done.
That exactly. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has nothing
Doesn't
to do
mean
with
they're
race.
better. It doesn't
Nothing
mean,
at all. Nothing like that. And we could talk about stigmas of cultures and this or that or all these other stuff, and maybe there's a lot of truth there.
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done, you could tell me these people lived there longer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give that to you. You know why? Because when God sent them there was other people living there.
Canaanites were there.
I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue with that. But if you say that's not their land, then one of you is right and one of you is wrong.
Yeah.
Either God's wrong or you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to lean towards one over the other. And to me, that's the argument. And in a very simple way.
Sometimes I try to simplify it. For instance, our dad has been in Tracy at the ranch since the 60s, right? Do you live in Tracy?
No.
I don't live in Tracy. Ruben don't live in Tracy.
Mm-mm.
Steve lives in town in Tracy. None of us live in a ranch. So let's say the day our parents are no longer there. And all of a sudden, our kids now we're no longer there. And our kids, let's say because, mom and dad ain't there no more, so the rancher does something with that land or whatever, this and that. So let's say my grandkids grow up and they say, you know what? We want that land back. And whoever has been there saying, you got no ties to this land. We're like, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? They're going to be like, our dad was here, our grandpa was here, our great-grandpa was here, this and that. And they're like, no, you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that. So you're saying that we would have no rights? We would have no say-so? Our children, our great-grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren, you just bring it down to a simple level.
Yeah. There's no land, there's no country that has ever been taken by peace. Never in the existence.
I'm going to build the righteous pad here.
Right? There's only one that God offered, and they passed it by, which was in Exodus when God told Moses and the people, if you follow me and you obey me and you adhere to this covenant, I will drive the people out slowly and not all at once. And I will drive the wild animals out, but not all at once. Why? Because if I drive them all out, the wild animals will occupy, then you're going to have another issue to deal with. He said, I will use natural means to push you out if you let me. They didn't trust him, so they had to fight.
Yeah.
But that was never God's heart. And so outside of that, there is no piece of land, there is no nation that was taken out of peace and hugs.
Now,
In every continent.
another thing, if we go into the Bible, God never called, because here's another thing people say, well, God said for them to destroy every man, woman, and child, this and that, whatever. Listen, there was Edomites, Moabites, there was all of these. Some of them treated the Hebrews horribly. Some of them didn't. And God had different,
Absolutely.
he dealt with them differently.
Read the fine print in the Bible.
I mean,
Read
was
the fine print.
not what's her name? Ruth the Moabite?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was. You know what I mean? So even then, God was like, there was something specific that the Canaanites were doing where God said, utterly destroy them. And if you don't understand the whole Nephilim thing and this and that, maybe that makes no sense to you. But not all the nations, just to prove to you that God didn't have something against all the what we call Arab nations, was what did he tell Esau? He says, out of you, I will make you great, and you will be a great nation. Right? Was that not a blessing from God?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like God had this thing against Arabs.
No.
He didn't. There were specific nations that God says, you know what? Because you treated my people badly, this is going to happen. So again, God didn't put them all into a giant net and say, away with all of you.
Yeah.
Just read the Old Testament, dude. Quit watching Instagram. Really open your Bibles and read what it is that it's saying before you say something.
Stop watching the TV shows. That's what is going on.
But it is, the whole Iran thing.
Robert said Antarctica.
The everything that's happening right now, and it's so weird because I know you posted that, you sent that, and I growing up, dude, the conversations of Iran have been. I remember Reagan talking about it. I remember when those planes got hijacked in the early 80s. Yeah. I remember that as a kid watching that on the news. I remember hearing all of that in my lifetime,
Mhm.
live, you know, and all the different things that was happening. But today, there's more information and just a lot of ignorance. And at the same time, I will say, and this is for me, and so it doesn't. I might not be right on everything, because
Yeah.
even though our, you know, going back historically, let's say we have these things, maybe there is some things that I need to get better understanding in, you know, in some of these arguments or conversations. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you know, that's where, like we were saying, Tino, as far as the table, I think it's a very, I think that point, whenever I read in the New Testament and it's talking letters, whether it's Peter and talking about persecution, what does he always bring it back to? He never deals with the culture or the country or the government.
Mhm.
He always says, fathers, let's go back to how you treat your wives. Parents, let's go back to how you treat your kids.
Mhm.
Because those are the moments that make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
And when the only governing authority that we know that God created in all of its purity and the way that it should have governed was never a government. It was a mother and a father. From the garden prior to sin, that was the governing authority that God instituted to govern the earth.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I, you know, that's the part that's lacking. And I see it. But there's a lot of fatherless young men and young ladies.
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know.
just children in general. You know what I mean? Menace to society. Oh, you're man enough to make a child, but not man enough to take care of one. You know what I'm
Chino
saying?
Max says God made a promise to Ishmael. Yep. True.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So God, it's not like people, Christians, ignorant Christians,
Mhm.
think like, oh, God hates all Arabs and he just loves Israel. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are you talking about? Where is that in the Bible? Because if you tell them, show me that in Scripture,
Mhm.
they're not going to find it. Exactly, the promise to Ishmael. You know what I mean? So we got to be careful, man. And there's certain tribes that did certain horrible things to the Jew. In prison, I met this guy that he was like super Jewish. And one day I happened to be sitting by him and I saw that he was super Jewish. So I wanted to ask him a question about Abraham. And he was so rude to me. Like as if I was a dog, dude, because I wasn't Jewish. You know? And I was like, but then I knew this Jewish guy. And I told him. Because he, when they would get special diets, especially during Passover. Like he's the first person that let me taste hummus and lamb. Because I was given to them for the Passover, right?
It's fire, right?
And he's like, hey, David, he goes, are you interested in, have you ever tasted lamb? I was like, nah, man. He goes, how about hummus? I was like, what's hummus? He goes, this is what we eat in the Passover. And he shared it with me. You know, and I told him, I said, man, that Jewish dude, and I wanted to ask him about Abraham, and he just treated me like a dog. He goes, man, that dude's a fake Jew. You know, and he started talking about him. He goes, listen, man, he goes, I know I don't believe in Jesus and everything. He goes, but he goes, David, he goes, you're so respectful, and I see you reading the Bible all the time. He goes, I love that about you, man. And he shared his Passover meal with me. So to judge, imagine if I would have took that guy and judged all the Jews according to that.
Mhm.
Or this guy that shared his Passover meal with me. You know what I mean? People are people, dude.
Yeah.
People are people. There's cool pastors, there's jerk pastors. There's cool cops, there's jerk cops. It goes all the way down the line. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And this dude, for him to break bread with me, that was special to me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was special to me.
Where
And
was this at?
in federal prison.
Oh, you were locked down.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And he was given a special meal once a year, and he shared it with me.
Yeah.
Like he could have just ate it all on his own, dude. Once a year, you're gonna get lamb, and he broke bread with me.
That's tight.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, because I've had conversations with some Jewish people, and they were jerks. I've also had some conversations with some Jewish people, dude, that really brought a lot of insight and details to me culturally
yeah,
that I just didn't know. And the details of it was just like, dude, that's fascinating, man. I never thought of it like that.
Mhm.
Or just their perspective of how they viewed the
Yeah.
law in certain things, and was like, but I will say this, and sometimes I think, because I've heard this conversation come up, where Judeo-Christians, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and this blend within in America, as far as, or the West, where we have this Judeo-Christian values. And I think what they're talking about is morals. You know, that's the way I've always taken it. But reality is Judaism and Christianity are polar opposites.
Yeah.
They are. There is not a blend between the two. And if there is a blend between the two theologically, that's Judaizers. And that's what the New Testament, one of the things that the New Testament stood against. But to say Judeo-Christian, I think it's just talking about the moral compass of what the law was trying to institute to a culture to bring civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the way I've always taken it. But I hear that more and more now, where it's a dogma, and I've noticed that more. I've never heard that argument before as much. I'm hearing it more now, whether it's on social media or different things.
Real quick, Santos Ortiz, Brother David, does it matter what Bible we read? I mean, between King James Version or ESV? I personally prefer ESV.
Mm-hmm.
I like the King James in a sense of like a wedding or something because it sounds very poetic, But out of the King James, I would say the New King James because at least they have the newer manuscripts that were actually older than the original manuscripts that have been added into the New King James. But I prefer ESV.
I prefer reading the ESV. I don't deep dive in any, through the ESV. I still deep dive out of my King James.
Yeah, I
just because there's more
I
resources.
interchangeably go both.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you, I don't in the King James. I don't.
Yeah, I
don't
do because I'm used to
dive into it.
Yeah.
That's the first Bible I had, and I read it like a few times. But I prefer New King James or ESV.
Yeah, I don't. The only reason not want a superiority, it's just there's more resources.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in New Kings again, so
Yeah.
I took it old school and went to New Kings, and this time
I
around,
love New Kings, man.
Yeah,
yeah, I love it too. Man.
That's what I carry with me everywhere.
That's what rides with me everywhere I go, pretty much. And
me
it's
too.
just like anything I always go back to that. King James I think is great. I think wherever my answer for biblical, which one would be? He only gave 2 choices, but I say this anyways. It all depends on your maturity. If you are a newer Christian, I would say read NLT or CEV. And as you start to become, that meat starts to become tougher and tougher, then you can get into these different types of manuscripts.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You understand what you're reading first.
Yeah.
Start asking questions. Question every single thing you can figure out and question about.
Yeah.
Because some people can say, it's like there's some horrible translations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of one translation in a bookstore that I would burn.
No, I think
You
that
Not burned.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying.
I
It's
do.
like-
here's the problem: is that I think just people don't understand what each Bible is for.
Exactly.
Some are meant for literal, like to deep study. Some are meant for easy reading. That's it is what it is. I'm not going to go to AM/PM and say this is a horrible restaurant. I know what I'm getting when I'm getting an AM/PM burger.
Hey, but those double burgers are pretty.
Yeah,
they're pretty
but
good.
when I go to a steakhouse
Yep.
and they don't cook it the way I ask them, I'm sending it back because I expect more from a steakhouse.
Absolutely.
But if I'm going to Denny's and I order a T-bone steak and it's not cooked, dude, you're at Denny's. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in the same way with the Bible, I would never burn any Bible, regardless of what translation. I hate the word translation. I don't like version. But you got to understand what you're getting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's it.
That's
Simple. So, have we surpassed our time here?
No,
6 o'clock.
135.
Yeah, about an hour. We've been off for an hour and 45 minutes. Almost.
Yeah. I mean, in the same way with our Wednesday Bible study, I use the message, and people like, how can you use a demonic book? You know what I mean? I'm just like, because I'm reading it next to ESV.
What makes it demonic?
I've heard people say because of the author and this and that. I'm like, do you know who King James?
Yeah.
Do you know what stuff he did?
That's why I was asking, bro, because who's the other one?
I'm
I
like,
think
you
it's the
literally-
NIV.
Yeah.
I think the NIV.
You literally die for King James. Do you know how wicked that man was?
That dude was horrible, man.
was a
He
horrible
was
dude.
probably
He killed all his children, killed his wife. I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff.
yeah, that
But
dude.
But hey,
like,
read his translation.
yeah, I mean, he was one of the greats.
I
I'm not gonna lie.
I
Yeah, it
love
is.
using ESV
I was very shy. I defended that,
and then
for a
using
long-
it the message in the
Yeah.
side. I think it's great. I think it's a great,
It's like
contrast.
Yeah, it's like I hate hammers because when I was trying to put in that screw, it wouldn't help me at all with
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, it's a different tool. It's just
Yeah.
a different tool. That's
exactly. Good way to put it.
Yeah, I read many versions. Every year I go through a different one, and yeah, it is what it is. Read your word.
Yeah.
Read
Because
your
I
word.
could find in every translation I've ever done stuff like that. I can always find a scripture that I go, man, that was a little watered down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was.
But you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
But you know what? This is what I've learned about watered down scripture in different versions. I'm gonna run across a dude who that watered down version is gonna be an epiphany to.
Yeah.
Because the other version that I like, that like cuts through and the sword of the spirit and all that junk, right? Hey,
That's
bro,
my
I'm cool.
point. Exactly.
I'm
That's
good,
my point.
bro. Like you lost me on that one. But I give him this watered down little thing right here. This is the watered down version, bro. This dude is gonna turn to Jesus in that watered down version.
Dude, I've seen people's lives change reading the message.
Yeah,
Because it hit on a personal level in a very understandable way.
The one I'm kind of questioning is the Passion.
I've never read that one.
Because there's only a New Testament. There's not an Old Testament. And if you're going to rewrite the word, why would you only rewrite? It's like reading Bill Johnson's Proverbs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm good with that stuff.
I was done at Bill Johnson. But go on.
So anyways, like the Passion only has the New Testament. And so I'm like, yeah, bro, did you only do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sounds a little bit
Did he pass away?
Who? The person who
writer.
wrote the Passion?
The writer.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, did he pass away prior to?
Oh, I don't
That's
know.
a lot of work.
What did he do?
They only rewrote in the Passion version. It's only the New Testament.
And my question was, did he pass away in the process?
Well, that's not a full Bible then.
Yeah, no.
That's my point. Like, why did you only do that?
Yeah.
Sounds a little prosperity.
One of my
to me.
favorite though Bibles is Amplified. I love the Amplified Bible.
Old school.
You like the Amplified?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's
Old
a
school.
study Bible for me, bro.
That's old school.
That's definitely next to the King James.
Yeah. When I don't want to have a concordance and this and that,
No,
whatever,
I can do
get
King
my
James
Amplified Bible.
Amplified.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's a good translation.
Yeah, that was one
For
of my
study.
that was one of my first. That's why I said that's old school for me, because
Yeah.
that was one of my first alternates.
Yeah. If somebody
Being a
told
young
me,
Christian.
man, you know what? I don't got money for concordance. I don't got money. Get an Amplified Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good book. A good translation there.
Good stuff. Before we get out of here, have you guys seen part 2 of David?
No, I was just told it was out.
Yeah, so it's been out for
was it out on?
about a month. It's on Prime.
Yeah.
Free or charged?
No, they're charging for this one.
Oh, it's worth it.
Yeah, so I'm watching it right now, and I will say, like, it's a good thing.
What's the cost?
You can do this 7-day trial called Movie Something. Just go to Prime and take it there, or press wherever, and it'll take you right to what I'm talking about. Do the 7-day trial, watch in 7 days, you cancel it and go forward. So, but it's a good thing that we don't depend on the TV show to teach us our Christianity.
Yeah.
Because they added a whole bunch.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
A whole bunch.
But every Christian movie, I go in expecting it to be
Little Hollywood.
Hollywooded.
Yeah.
But hopefully what it does is drives people to go see what the scriptures say.
Yeah.
I watch Christian movies to be entertained, to see it come to life. I don't watch Christian movies to build my theology.
Remember, Mom was so mad at us about Noah
Yeah. Why?
because of the rock people.
Oh,
She was so. When we took her to my mom and dad to the theater. All of us took her to go see Noah with
rock
Russell
people.
Crowe.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But because I understood the story, I also understood as far as going back to the book of Enoch, giants, and I was like, Mom, I wasn't watching this to get inspired theologically.
yeah. But that intro,
Yeah.
when he says,
Oh,
let me tell you,
classic.
at first it was
Yeah.
dark. That was sick.
Yeah.
They showed the serpent and Adam and Eve. And,
Yeah.
you
You
remember
would
that part?
recommend? No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
I've watched it.
I
probably.
rebuked it. I was
recommend it.
outside praying against it. I was holding my Bible and then a rosary in this hand, and I was walking back
The
and forth.
rosary. Would I recommend it for entertainment? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I
Yeah.
recommend it because it's
Of
super
theology?
biblical?
No.
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 No, dude. Especially
Not even close.
The first half is really good, and then it gets weird. But I expected that.
Okay.
I expected the weird, but I think you'd enjoy it. I really
Yeah?
do.
I do expect, though, more from somebody like, say, The Chosen.
Yeah.
Or somebody like that. But when Hollywood does a movie on Noah, it is not going to be biblically accurate at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
The only thing biblically accurate about that was the water.
Yeah. I will say the one thing out of the chosen that really irked me was season 3 in the episode
I haven't
1.
seen it.
No? When they had somebody die, one of the disciples,
Yeah. What?
in front of Jesus, and he said he couldn't do anything.
Where did they get that from?
That's exactly. And that's how Doubting Thomas became Doubting Thomas, because that was his girlfriend.
Really?
And to me was like, you could have done that story so many other different ways, but you made Jesus powerless in the face of death. That was the one thing for me I didn't like. And that threw me. After that, I've had a hard time watching the rest of it, even though I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah.
It threw me
I
back.
think I've watched one episode.
I liked it.
I watched the first season. I liked it. You know, but again, I'm not building my theology
No.
on TV shows. You
No.
know what I mean? So
I am.
you are?
Yeah.
That irked me though.
Yeah, that's
That
like
did
building
irk
your theology on what's his name? Smiley Man over there in Houston. What's his name? 7 ways, 5 ways of better you, and Joel Osteen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, anyways, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much. We're
Next
gonna
week?
go another week without us here. We're
Yeah.
gonna be in Texas.
Yeah.
Tino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any show next week. So, yeah. Sad.
Oh.
Sad.
Yeah.
Let me give you the, hold on.
For the record. For the record. For the record.
Haven't heard
For
that
the
in a
record.
while.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. We enjoyed hanging out with you guys. He says the movie Noah was not really accurate.
Not at all.
No. Even The Passion wasn't,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed that movie, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Jose Chicano says, let me go fill in. But God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Have a blessed week. Hopefully you had a great Resurrection Sunday.
Yes.
We didn't even talk about that, but I mean, hey, he
here.
rose again. You know, he rose again 2,000 years ago, and there's all kinds of graves that are filled, but his is empty.
Amen.
So God bless you guys, and see you later. And I'll leave you guys with this Cholo Cat.
Ooh, that little-
All right, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Later.